Hello and welcome to this new video of the string tutorial. And in this video we will going to look at next topics like string evaluation methods, how you can join string. We have already looked at stride, but never harms to look back again. But apart from that, adjusting the cases, lower, upper and capitalize, very much required, because most of the time when evaluating we don't know what sort of case we can get, so always either do a uppercase or a lower case, and in certain cases capitalize the first letter. Then how we can split the string, and then stripping characters, which we have already seen, but I'll just quickly show you in a minute. All right, so first thing is string evaluation method. So there are many scenarios in which you need to evaluate a string. For example, if there is a string that contains number, for example, num underscore string equals to 25. So technically it is a string. So if I press shift enter and say num underscore string, it will give me in single quotation the string number. But if I want to evaluate whether this is actually a string or a number, what I can use is basically isNumeric function. So to apply that, the method is numString dot isNumeric, that is it, and it contains true. And the reason being is it's only 25. So even though it is a string, but it contains true. So in certain cases where you need to evaluate a situation like this, whether this is string or this column is represented as a string but contains actually a numeric value, you can do this using the isNumeric function. So but if it has like this 25A, let's say if this is something which is a airline seat number 25A, 25B, 25C, which is actually not a number. So once you execute this, it becomes 25A, and now if we do, it will return false because it has identified the character over here, right? Another method is if I show you num underscore string dot is alpha over here and close the bracket, and if we press enter, it will again return false because the function expects that the string should only contain the alphabets, for example A, B, C, D, or anything. For example, over here, if I say airline equals to let's say the old but closed airline, which is Kingfisher, and now if I just check airline dot is alpha, if I close, it becomes true, right? So it expects that it should only have the character inside the string. Now there are many cases where you will see that not just one single string, but there is like a combination of a string. So for example, if I say airline equals to, in this case itself, Kingfisher Airlines. So many times you have strings like this and you need to evaluate whether it contains spaces or not. So what you can do is to identify that airline dot is space, and it returns false because this is not just a space but the entire name. So if it had a space like this, then it becomes true. So whenever you need to evaluate whether the string contains only spaces, you can check with this. So think around this, where you have been given an assignment or asked an interview question that there are within the string, within the column, you have lots of cells which contains nothing but a space. How would you identify it? So the isSpace method is basically come to rescue you. Another method which helps you identify whether the string contains alphabets and numeric. So what you can do is say what was the name, numString, num underscore string, and yeah, name is right, numString dot is let me try to search it, is alphanumeric. Is that is what I am searching. So I have alpha, digit, identifier, printable, space, but not the one which I was looking for. I think it was ALNUM, alpha and num, and it returns true. Let me see it again whether I could not see it or it's really the case. ALNUM, yeah, that was this. Alright, so this basically indicates that your string contains the alphanumeric character. Now with this airline, what we have is basically all the letters in the small. So airline dot is lower and it will return false. This is strange. Let me try to print the airline. Oh yeah, because we changed it to a space. So let me come over here. That's why I was a bit surprised. Airline dot is lower, true, right? And if I try to do it is lower, there is upper, which will be false, and I think there is capitalize or capital or something like that. Is XI, is numeric, is title. Okay, title case. So this is false. Title case is basically, you are having the first letter as the each word has the first letter as the upper letter in the uppercase. All right, so these are some of the functions which are related to the evaluation of the string, whether it is a number, whether it is a string, alphanumeric, upper, lower, or whether it contains space. Now let's see how you can join the two strings. So we already have airline. Let's say we create airline 2 and we call it simple airlines. So airline has Kingfisher. So to combine two string, one of the very straightforward method is use the concatenation operator, a space, and then the second one. So Kingfisher Airlines is what it will give you. Apart from this, you have a method which is join. So for that, it has a special way of defining a join. So first of all, we define that we want a space dot join, and within the join, as two parameters, we will pass airline comma airline 2 and press enter, and it will give you the output airlines. So either you can specify the variable or you can have the simple string directly over here, no issues around it. In case of variable, we have just surrounded by these two brackets, and same is the case with when you will specify a direct string. If you want it to be separated by comma, you can have comma like this and say join, and I can right now come here as comma airlines, and it will give the expected output that it has to be separated by it. So think like this, that there are two different columns like first name and last name, and generally how it is printed is last name comma first name. So you can just specify this and this statement where you will have the last name variable here, first name variable or the column name over here, and you will be able to get the full name how it needs to be printed, usually in the US or format, or the way it is printed in the databases in the US. So that's how you can join the two different string or columns or the variables. Now let's see what is next. Stride, something which we have already covered. So for example, we have airline, and let's say we want to pick every second character of the airline. So for that, colon and 2, and what it will give is the first, then move to the second character which is here, then move to the second character here, then here, and move it. So it's basically taking up a stride. So we want every third character from this. If we want every fourth character into here, So this 1, 2, 3 and 4, that's why F, 1, 2, 3 and 4, that's why E. So if you need to jump like this, or if you have a situation like this, or given in an interview situation like this, this is the method which is tried, and I think I covered it in the first video along with how you slice and dice it. So that's how very quickly you can do the strides related operation. And then you have adjusting the case, lower, upper and capitalize. I think very straightforward. So for example, airline dot I think it was upper if I'm not wrong. Yep, straightforward, Kingfisher, and airline dot lower will give you everything in the lower case. It was, I believe, already in lower case. And finally capitalize is give you the first name, the first character in the capital letter. So these are the three methods which you can apply to achieve it. So generally what happens is, the way interviewer asks the question that whenever we need to evaluate the output, let's say we are accepting a user input, for example a country name. So what user may enter is either everything in a capital letter or a small letter, or in a way the capitalizes where the first letter is a capital letter. But let's say in your database you have a specific way, for example everything is in small. So how you will make sure that you are accepting user input, and in case if it is present, then you need to evaluate it. So this way the answer will be using the lower method, where you need to keep everything in a lower case so that it matches perfectly with your database. Otherwise throw an error that this particular string or the value does not exist. So this is how they ask the question, and you just need to make sure that you are just aware about this concept. Okay, let's move on. And splitting a string, well, very straightforward. So I think we created string quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Let's say if you want to split every character into different strings altogether by having a space. So str1 dot split method and have a space. What you will have is quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and then you can store it as well. Let's say str2 equals to this, and then str2, let's say you need to do some further processing, you can do further processing, for example upper method over here. Oops, okay, it's a list, so we need to iterate the list, and then it will change it into everything into the upper. str2, if I print it, that's what it is doing. And let me quickly show you how you can even do that operation on each of this. So what we will going to use is basically the list comprehension. In this case, the list comprehension usually start with this bracket, and we will say I dot upper I for I in str2. Let's try, and yep, that's how very easily you can convert every string into the capitalize. So this is the comprehension method. Do remember that if you don't already know this. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this was about split, and as you can see, you can specify whatever the method is. So for example, quick brown fox comma jumps over the lazy dog, and you will specify comma over here, and you will see that quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Why not? It has not come. Still split. Yep, now it has come properly. I probably have not executed that. So quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, right? So this way you can specify how you want to split your string, and you will get the output. Finally, what do I have is stripping characters. So something like this. If let's say I copy it here, paste it here. And I've already explained you earlier, but I'm explaining you earlier. Let's say you have the dollar at the start or at the end, or maybe just at the start or just at the end. What you can do is basically use the strip method, str1 dot strip, and within that dollar, what you will get is simply quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And that's the situation you will find most of the time when you have system related data which is prefixed by a particular character and you need to remove the character. And that's even sometimes the question you will find, that how you will remove the first character, which is a system character, just to make sure that your data is clean. And the answer is basically the strip method. And there is a L strip and R strip. So that means if you have only on the left side, the character is only on the left side, then use L strip, and if the character is only on the right side, then use the R strip. And that's pretty much it in this video. And now let me meet with you in the next video with the remaining topics that I have.